When Derlord was going through the cave at the very first of the ARG, we noticed something. He stopped abruptly multiple times, like it was a bit out of place, only to find out Derlord had a reason. He could hear footsteps. Someone was behind him while he was going through the cave. Someone was also around him when he was in this stage. When he placed the hopper trap and the dirt block trap, he set up a hopper trap at first. So what happens is, if you are not present in the chunk of the hopper won't pass the items to the chest, as the chunk is not loaded. As Derlord tells us the plan in the chat, he moves somewhere else far away from the chunk to execute his plan and trap. When Derlord comes back, he sees the hopper remained as it is. However, we see him confirming us that there is someone present. Because he also placed a dirt and grass block trap, he placed a grass block beside a dirt block. And the dirt block won't turn into a grass block if no player is present in that chunk. But when Derlord returned, both of them were grass block, meaning someone, an entity or whatever you might call him, was there. Throughout the entire ARG, we just assumed that it was the King in Yellow. I mean, what else? And since Wifies never talked about who or what it actually was, we had no concrete answer. I mean, yeah, the King in Yellow was behind everything. He is this almighty king that no one can beat. We know all that. But whoever that was, behind Derlord, behind the cave, it was not the King in Yellow, and by the end of the video, everything is going to make sense. But one thing that bothered me was, if you notice, the whole ARG is very precise and accurate. From things like turning your inventory into a drive link, to continuation of things like Derlord releasing the zombie from a pillar, and then when Avery goes there, the zombie becomes a drowned. So everything makes sense here. The cave incident could not be something he did to make his viewers more hooked. Firstly, to get into this rabbit hole, we need to eliminate the possibility of the King in Yellow being that someone who was behind him. To understand this, we need to watch the scene where Derlord is about to peek through the gate at the end of episode 1. Who did Derlord actually see behind that gate? Like, whatever it was bad enough to make him full-on sprint out of there. But here's the thing that gets me. He didn't run straight away. He just stood there for 15 whole seconds before he did anything. Why? Why are you just standing there? And even after episode 2 dropped, we still got 0 answers, which is insane to me. When Avery went through the same gate, it led to this hallway with a bunch of other gates, and we all know how that goes. But like, a hallway? That's it? That's not nearly enough to leave someone completely traumatized out of their mind. Something else had to have happened to Derlord. So here's what I actually think went down. I don't think Derlord saw a hallway. And I don't think he saw the King in Yellow either. I think Derlord saw the second act of the play. And if you know the book, you already know why that's a big deal. The second act is basically described as this thing that's so disturbingly beautiful that your brain just can't handle it. And that is why Derlord stood there for 15 seconds before running. He wasn't frozen looking at a monster, he was reading. He literally could not look away. In the original book, it's kind of hinted at that reading the second act completely breaks how your sense of time. Like, it stops being a straight line and just becomes this messy, jumbled thing all at once. Derlord literally says he lost his sense of time in episode 2, and people just glossed over that, but it fits perfectly. Also, in the book in Quill, there's this block of random numbers that shows up, and by the end of the video, it turns out it's actually a coded message, a warning. It decodes to, "Run, Avery, it's here." Now, Derlord was the one who owned the laptop originally. Avery found the book way later. So how does Derlord know Avery's name? He shouldn't. There's no way. Unless the second act already ruined his sense of time and he literally saw Avery's future. This proves the gate theory. Avery finding the laptop, loading into the world, walking up to the structure. And with whatever was left of his mind, Derlord ran back, wrote it all down, and tried to warn him. That's not someone who saw a scary monster and ran. That's someone who saw everything that was going to happen and desperately tried to stop it. And to everyone saying Derlord saw the physical king in yellow and that's what made him lose it, that's not a thing. Like, genuinely go read the 1895 stories. Nowhere in there does it say looking at the king in yellow drives you insane. The only description we ever get of him in the entire book is a tattered yellow robe and a pallid mask. That's all we get. So now we know the king has no physical form and he was not behind Derlord. Then what or who was behind him? I hit dead end after this. It bothered me so much for days until Wifies dropped a behind the scenes video in his second channel. If we go to the drive folder where originally Derlord's footages were supposed to be, we should find a very interesting note. The footage has been confiscated by the DMS, the Department of Metaphysical Sciences. Why did they confiscate it? Why do they care about Derlord? Well, Wifies said time will tell, but I couldn't wait for that, and did my own digging. And to find out the actual truth, I need to take you back a year ago to a whole new different ARG, which will completely ruin your way of thinking about Derlord, Avery, or the King in yellow. This ARG is genuinely one of the most unsettling things I have ever come across, and you need to understand what happens in it because it connects to everything. So it starts completely normal. A player called Crafty logs onto a Minecraft server with his friend Alex. They're just vibing, building stuff, doing regular Minecraft things, nothing weird, nothing off, just two friends playing a game. And then Alex just stops, like completely. He stops talking in chat, stops responding to anything, stops being a normal human person, and instead he just starts doing this one thing over and over. He pulls out a compass, turns to face dead north, and walks. Just holds down left click and walks forward through everything. Mountains, caves, oceans, gravel pits, it doesn't matter. He goes through all of it. Does not stop, does not turn, does not acknowledge anyone or anything. For 6 years of in-game lore. 6 years of just walking north. His friends eventually got so freaked out they just left the server entirely. And Alex, still going. Still heading north. Alone. As the ARG goes deeper, viewers start uncovering what was actually happening. Alex wasn't doing this voluntarily. Hidden in his glitchy encrypted gameplay videos were hidden texts, government watermarks, and a conspiracy that went way deeper than anyone expected. Because behind all of it was an organization, a government organization, the United States Department of Metaphysical Sciences, the DMS. They intercepted Alex's Minecraft world and turned it into a digital cage. They were broadcasting subliminal audio, planting precise redstone torches to guide him, brainwashing him through the game itself to force him to keep walking north without ever stopping or questioning why. They weren't trying to beat Minecraft, they were testing the limits of human consciousness, seeing how long a human mind could endure rigid rule-based computational containment before it completely broke down. Now we need to rewind a bit, because I skipped over something that is genuinely one of the spookiest things I have ever seen in any ARG ever. And no, I know by now you may have connected the dots that this is the same DMS that was in Derlord's drive, but that is not the spooky part. The DMS doesn't just operate as this big faceless organization. They have a subdivision, a specific unit that handles the actual hands-on experimentation. It's called Archive. And once you know Archive exists, you start seeing them everywhere in this ARG in ways that will genuinely make your skin crawl. So remember when Alex and Crafty were just building together, everything normal, nothing suspicious yet, and then Alex just suddenly stops what he's doing, turns to Crafty and asks, "Is that you?" And everyone watching at the time was just confused, like, what does that mean? Who else would it be? And then when Wifies started digging, decoding the gibberish, following the signs, tracking down a YouTube URL hidden in the footage, and when they finally got Alex's actual POV from that moment, there was a figure. The same archive we are talking about. Just standing there. In the distance. Watching them. Someone was in that world with them the whole time. And then when Alex goes underground to mine, there's a room. Just sitting there underground where it absolutely should not be. A room completely covered in signs, wall to wall, and right before he leaves he sees someone with a complete nonsense of a username at first. Random characters, gibberish, nothing that makes sense on the surface. But when you decode it, it says Arch1V. Whoever that figure was, whoever built that room, they were working for the organization, giving orders to Alex, watching him, guiding him, and not just guiding him, traumatizing him. Because in one of the YouTube videos where we see Alex just mechanically walking north, there is something in the description, confirming us that Archive is the guy who brainwashed Alex by giving him orders. It is by far the most unsettling thing I have come across in any ARG I have ever watched. Now think about Derlord. Someone encounters a strange Minecraft world full of puzzles and gates and things that shouldn't exist. He pushes forward because his curiosity won't let him stop. And at the end of it, he reads something that destroys his perception of reality and fills his mind with knowledge he was never supposed to have. His mind becomes corrupted. He can no longer look away from the screen. He loses his sense of time. What if the DMS built that world? What if they put the second act behind that gate deliberately? What if the whole thing was a controlled experiment to see if a human mind could survive exposure to the second act of the play? Just like they tested Alex's mind by making him walk north for 6 years to see how long he could last. And what if the person who was behind Derlord was no one else but Archive?